All right, so let's move on here. Cold and wet, then, again, in terms of our position, the natural place for fire, they say, is upwards. The position for air, now look, as you see, as we start to move down, air has the quality of heat still, of fire, but it also has the quality of water, of moisture. So that's what enables the air that we breathe to be balanced enough so that it actually enables us to create blood and nourish blood, et cetera, et cetera. Yes?
Yeah, sorry, I just want to stop you here because this is the first time I see this and I don't know how I'm reading your chart. When first he called for hot and dry, wet and dry and all that,
yes.
Is this personality perspective or the environment that we're in?
We start with the heaven and earth, first of all, the planet being on the earth, and then we break it down a little bit more into the elements, earth, air, fire, and water. And again, natural places for those things, you know, these tend to be above the air and the fire, and the water and the earth tend to be on the lower side of the horizon. And then we start moving into the qualities of them. The qualities of fire is hot and dry, the qualities of air, and then we can begin to apply these qualities to other elements that we could say give our personalities a profile or qualities that correspond to the elements. So elemental qualities. So we're doing it, and then we look at the seasons that correspond to it.
Now I can understand.
Can you kind of see how I'm trying to move across here?
Yeah.
So when we get to water, its natural place, I mean, it does rise into the air, but how does it rise into the air? By the element of fire. Right? And air. I mean, through air, but it's fire, the heat of the sun that draws the water up into the clouds. Right? You have to have the heat. So the heat will pull it up, create the clouds. Right? And clouds is air with a lot of water in it. I mean, they're just like, they're like waves. And then it falls to the earth and moving towards its natural position, which is more on the surface of the earth. The lakes and the seas are on the surface of the earth. And then, and if we look at the nature of that, it's cold and wet. So water is cold and wet. It's passive. It takes the shape of the container it's in. It's fluid, moves. In fact, right? It has fluidity, it flows. Without it, we don't have flow in our bodies otherwise. But an excess of it in the body, an excess of it in the blood, in terms of our humors, creates sadness and quick to tears. You know, one of the macrobiotic, the first man that coined the term macrobiotics, George Osawa, he said, you know, you want to know which child is more yin, because this is the yin. You want to know which child's more yin. If you slap him, the one that cries first is most yin. And the tears come very quickly. Or whatever that's worth. So tears, easy to tears is a sign of cold and wet. Fat, slower moving. Winter is the season that corresponds to that. And in the term in Arabic is balgham. It's the watery element. We call it phlegm. And the term again in English, they used to say, he's a phlegmatic person. Phlegmatic was a term to describe a temperament, constitutional type. Choleric, sanguine, phlegmatic, and melancholic. So melancholic is the last one, cold and dry. Earth, the natural place of earth, is down, low, bottom. It's downward, the opposite of fire. Cold and dry are the elements connected to it, the qualities connected to it. Depression. Remember the word melancholy means literally black bile. Did I say that earlier? Black, choly, bile. So melancholia is another term. He's a melancholic being. My melancholy baby. Anyone know that one? It's an old song. Come to me, my melancholy baby is an old pop song. Really old. And so they're cold emotionally. You know, the scholar has to take care that he doesn't move in this direction. Remember my teacher said, Hakim, here's the Pushkin short stories because you're becoming too dry in your brain. So the scholar has to take care that he doesn't move down in this direction, because I've seen that with scholars. They spend too time, writing, studying, reading, very inactive, and their body becomes cold and dry too. And they begin to suffer from cold and dryness of the body. Fall is the season. The Arabic term is sauda, black. And black bile is the English translation of that.